Hey, welcome back to the Unbiased Room. We're here to talk coaching changes, man. There's recently been a lot of coaching hires, coaches getting fired. We kind of want
Yep.
to just go over a few. So the first one is Matt Campbell to Penn State, most recent one. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think out of all the coaches, I think Matt Campbell actually has the toughest job to get fixed out of all of them because he's going to a program who's in shambles. Ever since James Franklin left, Penn State has been going downhill. Whether it's from injuries to losing a quarterback to losing a coach. I think right now in recruiting, they're like almost last, if not last in recruiting right now, 120 something. I think it's with Matt Campbell, I think Penn State just gonna have to give him some time. It's probably gonna take 2, 3 years for them to get back to what the media says is Penn State football. So hopefully he has that time, and hopefully they give him that time to rebuild that program. But it's gonna be a lot of work, and the next couple years, couple seasons, gonna be some tough days for Penn State. But as far as the hiring, I think it's a good hire. Like I said, I just hope they give him time to try to turn that around.
Yeah, I know that wasn't who Penn State initially wanted, right? So I think the coaching search, I think they fired James Franklin a little too early, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. They were trying to start their search early and it ended up backfiring and not working in their favor. But I do like the Matt Campbell hire. This guy was a problem in the Big 12, man, with Iowa State. Like he won Big 12 Coach of the Year 3 years, man.
Yeah.
And he was
He's a
there
good coach.
for, I think he was there for 10 years or 11 years, one of those. He was 10 or 11 years during his time there at Iowa State. He's one of those guys that he's good at developing players, right? Because Iowa State wasn't, they weren't a super top ranked program when it came to recruiting, but he always found a way to get his guys in the NFL, right? He always found a way to, he beat Texas a couple times. He beat Oklahoma, a couple
Yeah.
times. Now, granted, it was none of that was on the road. It was in Ames, but I keep telling people, man, all the time, Ames, that stadium,
Like,
Iowa State, is a tough place to play, man. And that's because of what he was able to do there, man. And he built that program into, something special. I think he had like 4 10-win seasons while he was there. He's he's good, man. They got a good one. He's always been able to do more with less. And now being at a blue blood program like Penn State, he'll be able to get those 4 and 5 star recruits, right? Well, like you said, man, it's gonna be tough sledding because they only had 2 high school recruits signed for this class, right? Because they all decommitted and
yeah,
all of them followed James Franklin
James.
pretty much to Virginia Tech, right? Which I'm not mad at. Who we're going to talk about next, but I think that his first couple of years he's going to struggle, right? The point, I mean, everybody knows, man. Ohio State owns the Big Ten right now, right?
Yeah.
I know they just lost to Indiana, but as far as longevity, Ohio State owns the Big Ten. Them and Michigan, since Michigan have won like what 3 out of the last 5 Big Ten championships. He has a tough job ahead of him.
Yeah, it just the thing about Penn State and Matt, it just if they gonna give him enough time to turn that thing around, because 2 recruits, it's gonna be rough for them boys next year. Don't
Yeah,
like
he's going to have to
even
hit
if
the
they.
portal hard.
I was just about to say that even if they do hit the portal hard, it's still gonna be tough. But yeah, they gonna have to go. They gonna have to throw a lot of bread in this portal.
Yeah. But again, he's one of those guys, man. And I think he's more hard nosed than James Franklin, but he has that relationship with players like James Franklin does. Like
Yeah,
he's a player's coach. And that's why, speaking of James Franklin, we can, segue into that, him taking that Virginia Tech job. You see all the players that follow him, man, because I've never heard no player talk bad about James Franklin. You see on social media, some players be trashing their coach when they transfer when their coach get fired or hit the portal, and never, not once have I seen a player come out and say James Franklin was a piece of trash.
yeah, that's true. The thing about James Franklin, he connected with his players. All his players, like you said, all his players loved him. He connected with his players, and when he got fired this year, they didn't like that too much. So you was right about them firing him a little bit too early. But it was time for them to part ways. But as far as James Franklin going to Virginia Tech, I think that's a great hire for Virginia Tech. And as you can see, they jumped up a lot in recruiting since James Franklin got there because, yes, a lot of his players came and then he was able to recruit other players. And Virginia, the thing The thing about him being at Virginia, that Virginia Tech, Virginia has some good athletes, and
Yes.
Virginia. So if he's able to lock down Virginia and like the Oscar Smiths and all that area down in Norfolk and all around, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem in the ACC. So I think that was a home run hire for Virginia Tech to get James Franklin. Only thing about James Franklin, you know the narrative that comes with him. You can't win the big game. He hasn't won the big games. So, I mean, that's not going to change because if you're in the ACC, you still got to go to the playoffs and all that other stuff. So, it's up to him to change that narrative. He's going to have to prove people wrong. He's going to have to win some of those big games, and he's going to have to make some moves. But he got some leeway being at Virginia Tech. So, we'll see how that goes. But I think it's a great hire for both of them.
Yeah, I also think it's a great hire. One of the things you mentioned about him being at ACC and not being able to win the big games, I think the pressure is off him now, right? He was having to prove himself at Penn State year after year because of the big guys
Good
in that
point.
conference, right? With Ohio
Yeah.
State and Michigan and Oregon also. He doesn't have to worry about that at the ACC. The ACC is wide open, brother.
Yeah.
Duke 7-5. Duke just won the ACC. So
Yeah, facts.
if anybody tell me that the ACC is going to be tough to win, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Andy Diaz and the Duke Blue Devils, who's a basketball school, just won the football conference championship, right?
At 7 and 5.
At 7-5. So I think with that recruiting class he just signed, like you said, they started off, they were 121st in recruiting. They moved all the way up, I want to say, to 22nd or 21st
It's
since James
crazy.
Franklin got hired. He just did major work, man, flipping guys and, just locking guys down. If he's able to lock down the state of Virginia,
It's
boy,
gonna,
the
yeah.
ACC is going to be in trouble. I think they're in trouble already with that hire, but they're really going to be in trouble. They're
Yeah.
going to be in trouble.
If he can lock down Virginia and recruiting, yeah, it's gonna be some problems for them boys.
Yeah, good hire. And you see, he already took I want to say the O-line coach from Penn State and made him his offensive coordinator. So he got some of his guys, some familiar faces that he took with him to Virginia Tech.
Well, that's dope. Yeah.
I think they're going to be a problem year one. I ain't even
Yeah.
for real.
Virginia Tech this year, they just had a lot of injuries. It's not like there was a terrible football team. They just suffered a lot of injuries, and then their coach got fired in the middle of the season. So it's just like, but I agree. They year one, they might be in contention for winning the ACC. Year one.
Speaking of the coach that got fired, Brent Fry is his name. Him and James Franklin are like super close. Played in
Mm,
college together. I think James Franklin played for Brent Fry's dad. Actually, I think his dad was the coach, but they've known each other for over 25 years, or 30 years, or something like that, maybe longer. But he kept him on as defensive coordinator.
yeah, which is crazy.
So
I mean, it's dope.
it is crazy.
It's it's dope as a friend, and you
It is.
have your homie, and like that's dope. But it's
Yeah.
crazy to see. Hey, I got fired. Y'all wasn't giving me none of the resources that he got right now. But I'm about to come here, and I mean, it's just hard to give up. It'd be like this was my team, but now it's your team. So I mean, but they grown. So, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they had a conversation. So I mean,
Oh
that's
yeah, for
dope.
sure.
Yeah, that was dope.
And then looking at Virginia Tech's schedule next year, man. Still a FCS school.
Yeah,
I mean, not FCS, a Group of Five school. They have Virginia, who should be good again. Tony Elliott got that thing rolling. They're at Cal. Cal has their freshman quarterback. They're at Clemson. They're at Miami. Who knows what Miami going to be at quarterback? Clemson should have a bounce back year, maybe. I don't know what their recruiting class is looking like.
they're gonna have a new quarterback too.
NC State and Pitt. So listen, their schedule,
Pretty favorable.
they can go as favorable. They got
Yeah,
a few tough matchups, but it's not like they can't go in and win the ACC in year one.
I agree.
It's just, yeah, it can happen. It can happen. All right, next coach and last that we'll be talking about tonight, Lane Kiffin.
Go Tigers. Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
think it
sir.
was a good hire. I don't like the way that the situation went down, right? But we've already had that conversation. I think it's a good hire, man. Lane's a great recruiter. He's a hell of an offensive minded coach. I think they're going to make some noise. If he can grab some players in the portal, because I think y'all are going to lose some players to the draft this year. But if you can grab some pieces in the portal, man, I think y'all will be right back next year competing in the SEC. Again, man, I like the hire. Now, y'all schedule next year is not easy.
Yeah, it's tough.
And it is tough, I will say that. So I don't want to act like he about to just come in there and just he got he got somewhat of a gauntlet. You know what I mean? Y'all have obviously y'all start the year with Clemson. Y'all are at Arkansas, tough place to play. At Auburn, tough place to play. At Kentucky, sneaky tough place to play. Y'all get Bama at home, Mississippi State at home, Texas, Texas A&M, at Ole Miss, at Tennessee.
Yeah,
Boy,
that's crazy.
hey,
Yeah, that is crazy.
schedule, man.
Yeah,
So
that
listen, I know LSU fans expect to win every year, but if he come in and he only win 8 games for year one, you got to accept that, man. That's some tough games on the schedule, man. Really
yeah,
tough
it is.
games.
It is. So first of all, I want to say I was the first one to break this news. Shout out to my sources. I've been saying from since it started that we was getting Lane, and I said it was a done deal. I've been knew it was coming. I think it was a great hire for us. Two, I think Lane Kiffin brings that type of swagger that a coach that coaching at LSU needs. I think it's a complete
Yeah,
night and day from what him and Brian Kelly was. I think he connect with the players more. I think he's more in tune with the culture and the time of LSU. And then that offensive
yeah,
mind, the offensive mind that he bring, mind you, he's bringing all his offensive coordinators from where he was at with Ole Miss, which is key.
uh-huh.
And they call him the Portal King. So he's been killing the portal since the past 3, 4 years. And that
Yeah,
was
he
with
has.
him begging Ole Miss to give him NIL money. He's not going to have no problems with that here. It's part of the contract though, how we got him, because we'll give him as much. We've given him like 26 million for
25.
NIL, 25 for
Yeah,
NIL.
yeah, I seen 25 million for NIL.
And what was key was him and Blake Baker coming together so Blake Baker can stay, so we can have that defense to go with that offense. So I think we're going to be really good next year because we are losing some players in the draft, so we're going to have to attack in the portal, especially as quarterback, pretty much. And we got to get better at the offensive line. But
Yeah,
if he can secure a quarterback and just build up that line a little bit more, we're going to be a legit problem. But yes, we do have a tough schedule. And I think as far as how everything went down with Brian Kelly trying to sue us, with the governor coming in and saying there was some wild times at LSU these past couple of weeks, these past months
yes,
and
it was.
two.
Yes, it was. The governor tried to bring politics into it. Man, sit down.
Yeah, it was crazy. I never seen nothing like it. So to come out and actually get Lane Kiffin to come is huge. And I think they kind of won most of the fan base back over. Well, it kind of won the fan base back over who was tired of the Brian Kelly era and everything that came with it. And it's some good times. It's a new era in LSU football, back to dominating and dominance. I give it, but you got to remember he is at LSU. Got to get it done in at least 3 years. 3, 4 years, you got to get it done. But we have to be in the playoffs. We might give you your first year of not making it.
Yeah,
But well, if you go to 16 teams, nah, you have to be. If you don't make it in 16, bruh.
yeah,
Right. But as far as like the 12-team playoff next year, if he don't make it because the schedule, this is first year, he trying to build his culture. Understandable. But anything after that, we legit should be in the playoffs every year, especially with the roster we have and that we constantly bring in, and the coaches that we're keeping, and just the LSU brand itself. He said it himself. Like,
yeah.
imagine what he was doing all this at Ole Miss. Imagine what he's about to do here. So yeah, it's a great hire. I love it. Go Tigers. We back.
He is a great hire. I know one of the things you mentioned was rebuilding offensive line, man. And that is such a tough position to hit in a portal because normally if you're a good offensive lineman, you're normally starting at wherever you're at, right? There's normally
Yeah,
no reason for them guys to hit the portal. So anytime you grabbing portal linemen, it's usually just to fill holes, man. Not somebody that's gonna be like a consistent, you know what I'm saying,
day
day
one.
one guy.
Yeah,
You
that's a
usually
good point.
developing those guys out of high school.
That's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see.
But we
Uh,
will see.
yeah, especially with the quarterback situation. But great hire.
See what happens. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of the Unbiased Room. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us how we doing.
Yes, sir.